Let's begin today's Vanguard news with the results of the World Championships last weekend courtesy of Fuzzy Paradox. For standard, most players brought heroes thinking they can outrush the competition in a meta filled with decks that got their final upgrades in DBT 13. But in a surprising twist, that would put the entire Will Dress anime story to shame. At DBT 11 Shoujo Doji managed to outrush the competition and bagging the title of World Champion. So remember kids, don't chase the meta and play what you like. For V Premium, Gurgitgud having finally got their Ride Assist Cycle promo card, managed to fill half the top 8 as well as win the format, proving once again that V Premium is just who can snowball Marcus faster. Expect Tieda and Blondezel to be choice restricted in the next restriction list. And for Premium, the format is so diverse, and yet Fenrir and Minerva took both top spots. With Gridora not appearing at Worlds, don't expect anything to get hit for that deck and you'll now be at constant fear whenever you play the format that a random stun deck can suddenly creep up your ass. Congratulations to all participants and champions. Now that Worlds is over, time to touch grass and go on a fishing trip as Magnolia and Chris Rain got their cards revealed in DZBT01. Blossoming Flowers Sylvan Horned Beast Cheris when ridden over by a grade 2 Sylvan Horned Beast card lets you call up to one grade 2 or lower normal unit from the top 3 cards of your deck, then either send the rest to the drop zone or put them to the bottom of your deck. Bushiroad giving Magnolia main some incentive to actually run the deck's official ride line instead of borrowing Zorgus, because Charis now gives you 2 more chances to actually call a good unit as well as milling some good revive targets like Inlet Pulsed Dragon. Mercy Sylvan Horned Beast Lattice when ridden over by a grade 3 Magnolia card lets you pay 1 Soul Blast to add a grade 3 or higher card or a normal order card from your drop zone. And while on rear guard during your turn, it gets 5k power if you have a grade 3 or higher Magnolia Vanguard. Someone at Bushiroad's R&D must have said to just give Magnolia Zorga's ride line that's on theme, that also gives better options, but is a turn slower. Ranker Chain and Black Tears Husk Dragon just got fired, whereas Inlet Pulse Dragon gets to keep its job. Lively Navy Tifane when ridden over by Confident Aqua Musette makes you call the top card of your deck. If it's a grade 2 or lower normal unit, you add it to your hand instead if it's not. For those still confused about card typing, trigger units will be added to your hand. Since it specifies normal units, this card is basically a +1 regardless of the outcome. Confident Aqua Musette when ridden over by a grade 3 Chris Rain card makes you call the top card of your deck. If it's a grade 3 or lower normal unit, you add it to your hand instead if it's not. Of course a ride line that supports a mermaid would go +2 for no cost. I'm totally not salty over this. Fated one of ever changing Chris Rain once per turn while on Vanguard lets you pay 1 counter blast to either draw a card then energy charge 3, give one of your units 15k power, or this unit gets an extra critical. You perform 2 of these effects if you have 4 or more units with different names, and you perform all 3 if you have 5 or more units with different names. And once per game while on Vanguard, you can return all your rear guards back to your hand at the end of the battle she attacked a grade 3 or higher unit, to call up to 1 unit card from your hand then set that unit's power and critical to match this card. This card just turned the energy generator into an analogy of a credit card's reward points. You're basically earning points after paying 1 counter blast for a draw, which in turn can be used for another draw. And I haven't even talked about the perks you get for bringing more people when doing so. Cynical Composer Orm while on rear guard gets 5k power during the battle she boosted while you have a grade 3 or higher Chris Rain Vanguard. And while on rear guard, you can pay 3 energy blast when she boosts a grade 3 or higher Chris Rain Vanguard and you have 4 or more units with different names, to make your opponent call 3 or more cards with different grades to the Guardian Circle at the same time if they wish to guard from hand with a non-sentinel card. This is probably the most conditional guard restrict skill I have seen yet, as I would say, if not for the fact that you can ruin this card's day with just 1 sentinel. Innocent Orange Anis when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter and 3 energy blast if you have a grade 3 or higher Chris Rain Vanguard, to call up to 1 card with a different name than your units on the field from the top 5 cards of your deck. And while on rear guard, she gets 10k power when she attacks a grade 3 or higher unit while you have 4 or more units with different names. Ironic that a Highlander based deck wants to run 4 copies of this card, but would probably hinder it as a result. At least Petrarca mains can use 1 copy of this for a beat stick. Harmonious Offshot is a normal order card that can only be played by paying 2 energy blast to give 3 of your rear guards with different names 5k power. That must be some high-end camera if it requires 2 energy to use. On a side note, the middle girl looks a lot like Mio Renner. Finally, here's a look at Chris Rain's secret rare, which the circuit board style frame still looks out of place. But at least the pink blends well with the card's artwork. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members that continues to support me even after I got my YouTube partnership back. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if Lyrical Monasteria's energy generator is just your credit card.